So the Nifty is trading in the green at the moment. The pivot of the day is 83.47. Let's see once the things settle down what happens, whether the Nifty opens in the green or not. Right now around that 83.40 level. All right, we have our wise men with us. Vijay Chopra, T.S. Harihar, Ruchit, Jain and Ashish Chaturmota will be joining us. Ashish Chaturmota will join us in just a short while. Thank you so much. Let me take your calls first. That's what people are waiting for. Harihar, let's start with you.
Okay, we have 3 buys today. The first buy is on Vedanta, where we are recommending a buy at the current market price of about 230 with a target of about 260 in the next 1 quarter. The second stock is State Bank of India or SBI. Obviously with the direct spillover effects of demonetization, we are buying State Bank of India at the current market price of about 270, 275 with a target of about 320 in 1 quarter. And the last stock is one of our old favorites, which is a specialty chemicals company, Sharda Cropchem. The stock has corrected to about 405, 406 levels, and we are once again recommending the stock with a target of about 470 in 1 quarter.
All right, SBI, Sharda Cropchem and Vedanta. Mr. Chopra, what are your calls?
Very good morning. I would recommend 3 buy calls for today. My first would be a bank, a private bank, HDFC Bank. And I suppose so that, the banks are going to benefit with this drive, and a lot of cash is going to come on the books of the banks. So the current market price is about 1275. A very short to medium term target is 1320. And a stop loss of 1250 is recommended on the stock. My second call would be Gas Authority of India Limited. We've seen a run up in the stock already, and we've seen that the natural gas price is also coming up globally. So I suppose so that if somebody picks up the stock at 442, the short term target for the stock is 460. And a stop loss of 425 is recommended on the stock, although I feel that the stock has the capability of going past 500, so people can hold it in their portfolios. My third and final call would be Hindustan Copper. We've all seen the run up in copper globally, so I think that the company should be benefited, and valuation wise it is available at a pittance. So I suppose that if somebody holds with a longer term perspective, they will benefit, but even in the short term I feel that stock has the capacity to go up to 70, and a stop loss of 55 is recommended on the stock. So all 3 buy calls from my side on it.
All right, Ruchit, Jain, what are you doing?
Good morning, Anand. Well, a couple of buy calls from my side too. First call is a buy call in Reliance Industries. We have seen since August 2015 the stock has been now trading in a rising channel, and although most of the participants were quite bullish when the stock was around 1100, 1120 range, now after the price is corrected, the stock is now trading around the lower end of the rising channel. So the risk reward ratio is quite favorable for going long in this stock at current levels. So one can go long around this Friday's closing price, keeping a stop loss below 974 and expecting a target of 1052 in very short term. And my second call is a buy call in Max Financial Services. This has been one of the stock which has outperformed the mid-cap stocks in last 1.5 months of corrective move. This stock has shown more of a time-wise correction rather than a price correction, and last 3 trading sessions the volumes are comparatively increasing on up moves. So we are expecting a resumption of the uptrend in the stock. So one can go long with stop loss below 533, expecting a target of 645 in short term.
All right, as more and more stocks get bids right now, we're seeing that the Nifty has slipped a little bit. It just dropped below its previous close of Friday, right now trading just below that. So some sell-off might happen right at the opening. We'll wait and see, but obviously it doesn't look as bad. Let's just quickly take our viewers through what has happened in the last 3-4 days in terms of numbers. We're still in the middle of result season, and big numbers came out. Tata Motors, there's Tata Steel, Aurobindo Pharma. Let's start off with and Bank of Baroda. These are all counters. Jet Airways, Aurobindo Pharma, Corporation Bank. So let's start off with Tata Motors. The numbers are relatively weak, and even though there's been an improvement in top line, marginally, look at that. The actual has been 68,000 and the estimate was 65,920. So the top line has actually beaten market estimates, but the EBIT, this is the crucial number. Markets expected around 85-60 crore. Tata Motors has just done 62-82. PAT number, this is even worse. 2770 was what the markets expected, just about 850 odd crores. That's what Tata Motors has done, and that's partly because of hedging losses. About 3500 crores worth of losses have taken place in hedging, and there's been some commodities losses of about 180 odd crores in terms of futures. Standalone India business is still making a loss. JLR has done reasonably well, but still JLR earnings are much below what the markets expected. Tata Steel, again, not great numbers. It's back into losses. There you see sales is marginally higher, but look at the PAT number there. It's 50 crore loss compared to a 5600 profit 1 year ago. So Tata Steel, as you can see in pre-open, is down 3.5 odd percent. So this is another counter which is looking weak at the moment. Aurobindo Pharma more or less in line. Significant movement, about 33 odd percent growth in sales. In PAT, sales has also improved quite strongly. There you see 3775 on sales from 3364. 12.4% formulations business growth. 80% of revenues comes from formulations. They've added 9 new ANDAs with the US FDA. That's what they've signed in Q2. BOB, Bank of Baroda, very strong numbers, and that's showing up in the pre-open pricing as well. It's gone up, its total income is down about 2%, but if you look at its PAT, it's gone up sharply, 334%. Importantly, gross NPAs are down, have gone up slightly. It was expected to be much more. Net NPAs are down significantly. Look at that, 5.73% in the previous quarter, and almost 30 basis points improvement there, 5.46% down. Provisions have also dropped by almost 200 odd crore, more than 200 crore in fact. You see 2004 crore was the provisions quarter and last quarter, and now it's below 1800 crores. Jet Airways, this is another counter which is going to see a bit of a problem. That's because of, it's been a slow season, there's been a problem with ticket pricing, it's getting more and more competition from Vistara and the budget side and full service side from Vistara. Marginal improvement in revenue and profit almost flat. It was 83 crore last year, 85 crore this time. So mixed picture as far as earnings go. The banks have done well, Bank of Baroda has done well, but the Tata companies have done badly. I just want to, Harrier and Mr. Chopra, both of you, I just want to, let me start with Harrier. I want to understand how banks benefit from demonetization. Harrier, if you could just explain to us.
See, Anand, I think there are three broad ways in which banks are going to benefit. The first, of course, is the huge surge in deposits. I think we've already seen the first 5 days roughly about 87,000 crores coming to SBI alone and about 4 lakh crores coming into the banking system. So I think that is going to escalate as we go ahead. Now your in gates are open and your out gates are kind of partially shut. So we are going to have a huge accretion in the net deposits. That's the first benefit. And the second benefit is that this huge surge in liquidity is going to bring down the yields both at the short end of the curve as well as the long end of the curve. So we are going to see the entire yield curve shifting downwards. Now what this is going to do is that your entire government bond holdings of these banks is going to give you a kind of a capital appreciation over the next 1 or 2 quarters. That is the second benefit. Now all this is going to result in one thing, that the yields are going to come down, which means investing in government securities is not going to be profitable any longer. So probably 2 quarters down the line, banks will realize that it makes more sense to start commercial lending rather than investing in government securities. So today they are holding 4% above the SLR limits. So they may probably cut it down to towards the SLR limit. So a 4% reduction in the SLR holdings would lead to a substantial expansion as far as the loan book is concerned. So I think these three things put together is going to actually make a substantive difference as far as banks are concerned.
But in that case, you're assuming that banks are not lending at the moment, that they don't want to lend.
Well, at least the PSU banks are not, and if you look at the private banking books, most of the funds are going into consumer lending and very little is going to corporate lending. I think but that could change.
To corporates, no one wants to borrow anything. I mean, you can give it to me for 1%, 2%, how does it matter? I have excess capacity, I have no reason to borrow. Why should I borrow?
No, but see, let's understand, most of these corporates are still borrowing from the CP market. They're still borrowing abroad. It's not that corporates don't need money. I think it is just that banks are not able to give them at the terms that they want. So once the costs come down, banks will be actually able to give the money at the terms that these companies want.
Vijay Chopra, do you broadly agree with what T.S. Harihar is saying, and is there anything else you would like to add on that?
Well, definitely, I would agree to what Harihar is saying. And there are a few things I would like to add. You said that the banks are not lending to corporates, and corporates don't need money. I suppose so, barring the larger ones. You look at the SME space; they are reeling for cash. There's a huge cash crunch. They need money for expansion, and loans are not happening since almost 1 year or so. Since we have seen a lot of the loose tightening in the banking system. So I think that this liquidity which has come in the system would help at least lending to SMEs and the private
We are having a bit of a disturbance on that line with Vijay Chopra. In terms of technicals, Ruchit, which banks stand out at the moment?
Probably if we just see at the Bank Nifty index first, then last week itself the Bank Nifty index gave a breakout of this falling trend line resistance which we have been observed since last 1.5 months. So firstly, it's a positive sign that the Bank Nifty index has already given a breakout from this last 1.5-2 months of corrective move which we had seen. Now if Bank Nifty moves higher after this breakout which we have seen, then definitely the private sector banks which have the heavy weights in this Bank Nifty index, that would be the most I think that positive moment would be most there. So one of the bank is Kotak Bank, which we are expecting a good positive move. This stock has recently outperformed the other banking stocks and has shown more of a time-wise correction. So I think Kotak Bank could be seen if anyone has to pick one stock from the banking sector for this up move. Keeping a stop loss below 780 or 775, one can go long. We are expecting target around 850 to 880 in very short term.
All right. Okay, Ruchit. I have Ashish Choturmota with us. So Ashish, we have very little time before markets open. Just give us your calls first.
Good morning. My first pick would be within the PSU banking bet, State Bank of India, looking very strong. We have seen a very strong open interest addition in last couple of trading sessions. I think on upside, the stock has a potential to give targets of 285, 290 in a shorter time frame. But positionally, the structure of the stock is very strong, and I think 320, 330 could be the positional target in the stock. On downside, 262 should be kept as a trading stop loss. My other bet would be a short call on India Bulls Housing Finance, where I think one can initiate a short keeping a stop above 725, and on downside can look for a target of 640 levels.
All right, just about 20 odd seconds left for the markets to open. Right now, when the pre-open closed, the Nifty closed at about 82.84, which is not bad considering what kind of signals we got in the market from the SGX Nifty. 82.84.95 is where the Nifty closed, was the low for the Nifty on Friday. So the opening looks like around that low, and if that becomes a support, then we could move slightly higher, closer to the pivot of the day, which is around 83.30 odd mark. So the first trades are coming in right now, and we'll get a sense of what is happening. BHEL down 0.5%, Ambuja Cement up 1%, Aurobindo Pharma, as expected after those good numbers, is up right now, but selling off almost immediately. Grasim down 1.4%. The Nifty is down 82.45, so it's actually gone below Friday's low. So 82.37 on the Nifty at the moment as we speak. Bank of Baroda, very strong numbers there from Bank of Baroda when one looks at the gross and the net NPAs, the improvement that we've seen and the provisioning coverage itself. So 6% up Bank of Baroda. In fact, I suspect that several banks will be doing well right now. Hindalco, that's on the buy list of several of our guests as well. It's up 2.5%. Aurobindo Pharma up 1%. We actually opened much stronger. The day high today for Aurobindo Pharma was 699. It sold off about 5 rupees. Tata Motors down 5.5%. Bad numbers there for Tata Motors, and Tata Steel is doing as badly, 4.5% down on Tata Steel at the moment. So both the Tata pack companies which came out with numbers, and those numbers have been poor, and Tata Motors DVR down about 4.3%. Z Entertainment is down about 4%, and we're seeing some sell-off in the auto space as well. Maruti is down 3.7%, Eicher Motors is down 2%, and interestingly some of the HDFC is down 2.7%, obviously because of the impact that is expected on real estate. Yes Bank down 2.7%. Tata Power down 3%. Amongst the big gainers in the Nifty, we are now actually left with very few. It opened strong. and now some more have come back. So the markets are kind of fluctuating at the moment. The bank Nifty is a crucial one to look at. The Nifty is now almost 1% down, so it has sold off quite a bit. The big gainers on the Nifty: Bank of Baroda, ONGC has gained 4.3% up, Hindalco up 2.5%. I'm assuming that's also partly because of the dollar correction, the rupee correction. As oil prices go up, ONGC therefore gains. Hindalco up 2.5%, Aurobindo Pharma 2.3%, Sun Pharma 1.5%, and in fact I'm going to ask our guests what they think about the pharma pack because of what is happening to the dollar. But let's look at what is happening in the biggest trade. So we're just going to take the top turnover companies on the NSE and then we'll stack them up according to the maximum gains there. So Suzlon Energy is up 8.2%, Bank of Baroda, massive trades there, 4.6% up, ONGC 3.3% up, Hindalco up 3%. Clearly there is a bet that commodity cycle is now going to improve. Bank of India up 3%, State Bank of India up 2.3%. All these PSU banks which are undercapitalized, facing trouble, as Harihar and Vijay Chopra pointed out to you, that there's going to be an amount of money that's going to come in. And we've already seen a significant amount of deposits come in, and that's going to come in and stay at least till the 30th of December where these curbs are in place. And then there are the pharma companies. There's Sun Pharma. Manappuram Finance is completely sold off. That's down 11.5% on strong volumes. Let's just take out what has happened to Manappuram in the last 2 odd days. If I can look at what has happened to Manappuram even on Friday. Manappuram Finance now down about 10%. It went down 11% on Friday, down 10% right now. So 22% correction in just 2 days. Now, Mr. Harihar, let me take up Manappuram first. Gold finance companies, in the long run, they're likely to be affected. But, there is one argument that even till the 30th of December, there will be some amount of gold buying that will continue. Black gold will continue. Gold will increase in prices, price. So, therefore, is this a bit of a panic reaction?
See, I think a lot of finance companies, be it Mahindra and Mahindra Finance, which corrected very sharply on Friday, or be it Manappuram, which is correcting today, are getting constrained for a very simple reason, that the liquidity situation in the market is extremely tight. And we need to remember that a lot of these finance companies actually collect their dues from their customers in cash. Take a company like Ujjivan, which is a microfinance company, or even an M&M Finance. They do tend to disburse loans and then they collect the money in small tranches in cash. Now, today those cash transactions are really not happening, or they're not able to do it because of the limits as far as the cash movement is concerned. So this is what is actually constraining a lot of finance companies. And I think if this liquidity crunch continues, all these finance companies are going to get deep into trouble and actually face an asset liability mismatch over the next few days. So I'm not very confident of these companies, and I think they're going to go through a very, very harrowing time over the next few months.
Right, gentlemen, thank you so much. I have to say bye to you a little early today because we're getting this live feed from the CLSA India conference where Mahesh Nandurkar is speaking. Let's just go.
And also the near-term disruptions that will be caused by GST.